Hello, this is RL from VALOI. Today I'm going to talk you through the process of using the new easy120 system. I'm going to show you start to finish kind of process, but as a brief overview, not as a direct instructional video. So we're going to go through how the setup will look like for you, not all of the details, but most of the setup, how it looks like on the camera, and then how it looks like in use. We're going to scan some 6x6 black and white film today, and then I'll put it into Lightroom for you and we can look at the final results at the end as well. So here I have a full frame camera and a modern, this is a 90mm macro lens. I've got the tube setup that the easy120 comes with, and I've also got 3 different holders. Inside the unit I have the 6x9 universal holder that the easy120 unit comes with itself, and then I also have 2 additional holders. This is the 35mm holder and the 6x6 holder that we're going to be using. I've also brought out the duster, so this is the same duster as the 360 system, but it is compatible with the easy120 system, and I'll be showing you where that's attached as well. So to start with, you have to select your own tube set. It comes with about 300mm of tubes in these different pieces. They come in kind of half sizes of the previous one, so it's the 12mm, the 25mm, the 30mm, and then also the 100mm final tubes. There's 2 of those. The unit itself has a light built inside, and the holders just come out. You just push them, and then you pull them out at the end, and then you can replace them with another holder. They have an up and a down, so it's important to look at the writing on top, and then just push into place and click for the spring. I've already done the work of pre-selecting the tube set. It depends on which lens and camera you have. In this case, I have 2 100mm tubes, and then the cap on the end for the filter thread adapter. So there's just screw on the top of this large filter thread. I'm just going to make sure the rotation tube is fixed in place, and then I can screw these on. Before I attach the camera, I'm just going to show you where we could attach the duster if we wanted to use that. So I've added these 2 screws here. They are just standard M4 thumb screws, and they screw in on the end on one side, and then you can attach the 360 easy120 duster with the screws facing outwards, and now you can push your film through. For the sake of making this slightly less fiddly for myself, I'm going to not use them on the video. Finally, the camera goes on top. So in this case, we're lucky that the 90mm from Sony has a 62mm thread, which threads straight onto the tube. But don't worry, the easy120 comes with a range of different filter thread sizes fitting most common filter thread sizes on macro lenses that are available. The notable exception is the Leica 60mm thread. That's kind of a strange oddball from the rest. But other than that, it fits everything up to 77mm. So to use that, I'm just going to thread it on. You can either take off the lens or you can thread it with the camera on. Just be careful when you're doing this. I'm going to take off the lens to make it a bit more elegant, but essentially it attaches by the thread. There, and then I'll attach the camera. Once the camera is attached, it's important that you don't lift the unit just by the camera or just by the easy120. You don't want to create too much stress on the lens filter thread mount. It's safe, just make sure you hold it with both hands. Final piece I'm going to attach is this little foot for the camera. It's not mandatory, but it comes in the box for the easy120, and you attach it in the tripod socket of the camera. And with that, it just levels out the unit when used in the horizontal position. So you could choose to use your camera like this in a vertical position. In most cases, we recommend that you use it in a horizontal position because most helicoids will sag a little bit under the weight of the camera, and it can throw your focus off over time. So I'm going to pick it up with both hands, and then I can put it down in a final scanning position horizontally. And then you can see here that the foot is supporting the camera and kind of lifting it up a little bit, so the camera isn't kind of pointing down and you can't see the screen. In this case, we have a nice flippy screen anyway. So just going to turn on my camera. The unit comes with a light inside, as I said. This is the CS light. It has 3 light settings and an on button, we're going to use the black and white kind of middle white setting. We already added our holders. We can see here on the screen it has a nice 6x6 view, but the view is a little bit rotated. It's just because the holder and the sensors aren't perfectly in line. So you just untighten the rotation tube and it'll kind of settle into place, and we'll make a final adjustment once I've put in some film. The holders are designed to just let you feed the film through, so there's no sort of loading with a glass sandwich kind of clamshell mechanism. It's just, you just push it through and it has an S-curve inside to help flatten the film. So we can see here on the screen that the film is starting to show, and I'm going to frame it in the middle of the holder and then just do a final check on the rotation. Make sure we've aligned our film, and then I'm just going to tighten that. And then finally, we know I have the right tubes already, so we can see the full film is in view. But I'm just going to use the focus here, and I'm using autofocus. You can punch in and double check that the actual focus is there. Beyond that, we're ready to start scanning. So you can use a remote with the easy120. Everything's connected together, so it's quite sturdy. So you can also just rest your finger carefully on the shutter and take the picture, and then you move on to the next picture. I'm going to be trying to frame them carefully in the middle of the holder because that will let us do batch cropping of the final image at the end. And once it comes through, obviously you can choose to continue pushing if you want, or you can pull the film as you go along. All right, I'm going to finish scanning this film, and then I'm going to import the pictures into Lightroom, and we can take a look at the final results and what kind of results you can expect from this black and white film. So I've imported the pictures into Lightroom, and we're going to convert them using Lightroom in combination with a plugin called Negative Lab Pro. Here you can see the 12 images, and I'm going to run you through the process of converting them. First, I'm going to crop them down to their square size. This wouldn't necessarily be necessary for different sizes, but we're going to do that for the 6x6. And then I'm going to sync across this this crop. Now we have a consistent crop on all the files. I'm just going to rotate them all before we go into converting them. And then I'm going to open Negative Lab Pro, choose the black and white color model, and I'm using some border buffer here to avoid, in case there's a little bit of error on the crop, just to avoid the bright edges, so we get a consistent contrast across. And then click Convert Negatives. It takes a few seconds per picture, and once the process is done, we're going to get some settings for tweaking the final results, and then we can look at what that looks like. Now the pictures are converted, I'm going to just choose a sort of standard profile for them and then apply the same profile across all. Let's open one of the files and see how it looks like. We can see that the crop is a little bit off, so I'm going to adjust that. And then we can zoom in and look at the detail. And as you can see here, we can see consistent, nice grain across the whole frame. That's the whole process of using the easy120 from sort of setup to a final converted picture. You can go ahead and export them or just leave them in your Lightroom catalog and print from there, or you can upload them to Instagram if you want. That's the whole process. So there'll be more videos with further instructions about how to use the easy120, but I hope this video has given you a little bit of an overview of how the process will look like for you. So I'll see you in the next video, and goodbye.